Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Monday, November 18th, 2024. So, did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword.
And was it a fine Monday crossword?
It was a breeze.
Was it?
It was for me. I breezed through it pretty quickly.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Monday, so we probably weren't expecting it to be too tough.
Right.
I guess I did it I was doing it on my iPad, so that sort of slows me down just a little bit. And I'd made one critical mistake, 3 down, permitted by law. At first I had legit,
Me too.
And then I thought licit, but what actually showed up in the grid was lycis, L-I-C-I-S, so that because 23 across, the we informally, I had as itsy.
No, but it was itty.
Itty. I think.
Itty bitty.
But isn't itsy, that sort of sounds small.
Itsy bitsy, yes, that's another word for small.
Right. So I was I think I might have had licit and then ran over it with itsy. I'm not quite sure exactly how that collision happened. Or we could argue that it was maybe a neutrino that changed the S into or the T into an S. But anyway, that was my mistake.
I see.
Fortunately, in the top left corner, so not too hard to spot.
Very good.
Very
good. Yes, I also put legit. But yes, it turned out to be licit. I don't usually use that word, licit.
I wonder if legit, licit sounds more like it's got a legal association with it, whereas legit sounds like it's just
slang.
Obviously it's short for legitimate, which means it's real, but it doesn't seem to have a legal connection to it the way that somehow licit seems to. Licit seems to elicit a feeling of legality,
I suppose. So I thought the theme was brilliant. I just was quite impressed with the theme.
Yes.
For Monday, you don't expect a lot.
Mm-hmm.
but this one was very clever. And it entailed 4 themed clues, the answers of which were 3-word answers, and the middle word was and. So it was something and something. And they were all common phrases or words that you would associate with each other. But I'll go ahead and go through them, and then you see if you can pick up what the theme is. 17 across, personal bidding in an idiom, and that was beck and call.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had 28 across, who went up the hill, in a nursery rhyme, and that was Jack and Jill. And then we had 44 across, 2-player offensive sequence in basketball, and that was pick and roll.
Right.
And then finally we had 59 across, like a hard-to-believe story, cock and bull. And if you haven't picked up on it already, each of the 4 theme clues, the first word always ends in a CK, and the last word always ends in a double L. So they almost rhyme. Beck and call, Jack and Jill, pick and roll, cock and bull.
And all the words are the same length.
Right, yeah, they're all 4 letters. 4-letter.
With the and in between.
With the and in between. So yeah, I was just quite impressed that you could think of 4 phrases that were that similar, and then work them into a crossword puzzle. Very good.
Yes, and this was by Rajeswari Rajamani, who this is her second New York Times crossword, and her first was a Jam Cotwell winner.
That's right.
So I don't know if she can win 2 in a row, but this is a pretty good crossword.
Yeah.
So definitely in the running.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was I did like that, the fact that it was sort of a very gentle sort of theme, just sort of understated, but there it is. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And as you think about it, extremely clever to put that together like that.
The only one I didn't know was 44 across, the 2-player offensive sequence in basketball, pick and roll. What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. I turn to you as you're our color commentator when it comes to sports.
I don't know that much about basketball offense.
Well, okay, so you pick. So maybe you pick up the ball and then you roll with it. No, that doesn't make any sense. Oh well, maybe we've
It's a 2-player offensive sequence. So maybe I don't know. You I'm not sure. I have no idea what it is.
You pick which of your opponents you wish to run into, and then you roll over them.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe one of our listeners could help us out here, because clearly we need help.
Yeah, I just don't know that much about basketball. So.
I know a lot about Jack and Jill, who went up the hill in a nursery rhyme.
Me too. I've heard that a time or two.
That was the one that definitely rolled off the fingertips faster than any of the others. I mean, even Beck and Call took me a bit.
Yes.
I mean, I'm very familiar with it, but just...
Well, if you put legit in, you had Beggett. And
yes.
So that's how I knew legit was not right. So it was licit.
Yes.
Beck and Call.
And the one next to it, perfectly fine, 4 down, A-OK.
Right.
Where OK is actually spelled out.
Yeah.
It looks weird to see it spelled out like that.
Well, it does, yes.
I mean, that is how you spell OK.
Oh, yes.
But I'm so used to the abbreviation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had, of course, 5 down, Marvel Comics Mutant X-Man. I got that one immediately.
Oh, very good.
I nailed that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The 6 across, Welsh dog breed was a Corgi, spelled C-O-R-G-I.
I got that right away.
I don't know. There's something, maybe it's something in the air, but I keep looking at these words and thinking that's an unusual spelling. Corgi with an I. But that's how you have to do it. I mean, Corgi with a Y would look even stranger.
That's true. That's very true. Mm-hmm.
And let's see. 21 across, museum info displayer was a placard.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just imagine someone doing a parody of Star Trek and having Jean-Luc Placard. But
Placard.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I thought 43 across was interesting. Spanish babies. Nennies.
You stuttered as if you didn't know how to pronounce that.
I've never seen that as a Spanish word. I see that as a Hawaiian goose, right?
But in addition to being...
I've seen like niño or niña. That's a little boy or little girl.
Well, I thought this was a...
baby is nene maybe.
I'm going for neenies.
Well, no, let's see. In Spanish, all the vowels are always sounded the same. And an E usually sounds like a D-A, like an A. So it'd be a nene.
Well, it sounds like an A. But what about senor? That's spelled S-E-N-O-R, and that sounds like an E. Senor. Senorita.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I'm doing that with a Transylvanian accent.
Like San Diego.
That's...
I sounds like an E, and an E sounds like an A,
and I sounds
an A sounds like an ah.
Except after C.
But anyway, so I think it must be nenes. Again.
That's the dance. That's too confusing. Or maybe that's the gesture. I guess that's the gesture, right? The nene.
I think so. But anyway, so that was a new one on me. I've never seen that word before.
I have. It's a bird.
Well, yes, I've seen it as a bird, a Hawaiian goose.
Yes.
Right, but I've never seen it clued as a Spanish baby.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if you can both have a Spanish goose and baby, or Spanish baby and goose simultaneously.
Perhaps.
Let's see, what else was interesting? We had, of course, 40 down, the obligatory appearance of Weekend Comedy Show, for short, SNL.
It certainly gets in the puzzle a lot.
SNL has been in the crossword at least once every day since its inception. Actually, only 249 times.
Yes.
But it started in 1995. It's out of control this year. Joel, if you're listening, cut out the SNL. We don't need SNL every day. I think he's put it in as some sort of a requirement. I think it's product placement.
The first time it was in was 1995?
Yes.
That's surprising, isn't it? Because it started in the 1970s, that show.
Well. So
for 20 years, they didn't touch it. And now it's like every other day. It's SNL.
Well, I just wonder, it never appeared before Will Shortz. I don't know when Will Shortz first became editor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around 1995.
Perhaps.
I think there might have been some edict before then saying no abbreviations.
Oh.
And certainly if anyone suggests adorbs or twee, we're going to fire you immediately.
Gotcha.
And if it's ushers, don't forget to close the door on your way out.
Well, we had, the nene or whatever, 43 across.
Yes.
Then on the outside, 38 across, speaking and pointing at objects in a game of charades, and that was no-nos.
So we had no-nos and ninis?
No-nos and
nenes.
I think it's nenes.
No-nos and nenes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can do one worse than that. 27 across, take blank, catch some Zs. That was a nap.
Yes.
So we had a nap, and then we had 32 down, finger clicking sound, snap. So we had a nap and snap.
Well, that's true.
Which impressed me no end, but I'm usually impressed.
So,
let's see.
It's just a very interesting puzzle.
I did.
Especially for a Monday, when lots of times you just kind of go right through them and don't pay much attention to the words. But here the words were very interesting.
Well, one that was interesting and also rarely seen, blank curia, friend of the court, amicus curia, or maybe curiae. Boy, this seems to be our day for difficult to pronounce words. I feel pretty confident about amicus.
Yes.
But I just don't know about curiae. Yeah. It's Curiae. Mm-hmm. It's probably curiae, friend of the court.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we had, I just like this other 35 down. 35 down was what goes up after a countdown? Rocket.
Yep.
Just sort of thought that was a nice play with the up and down.
Pretty straightforward.
Yes, but.
Mm-hmm. And a little fun fact, I did not know, 20 across. Blank Scurry, the first black woman in the National Soccer Hall of Fame. That was Brianna Scurry. So there's a new historical name.
It sounds like a good name for. Sounds like a good name for a soccer player. Isn't that what they're mainly doing, scurrying about the field?
It's an interesting name, Scurry. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I mean, if her last name had been, if her last name had been like Fast Runner,
or Bruiser, or Crusher, or Kicker.
I don't know. Do they do a lot of bruising and crushing in soccer?
Well, they do a lot of they run into each other. I think a lot.
They do. I thought that was football.
Hmm?
That's football.
Well, it's soccer too.
Is it? Okay. That tells you how many soccer games I watched. All right. Well, I think that is it for today.
Okay.
So thanks everyone for listening. A reminder that tomorrow will be Triplet Tuesday. So make sure you tell all your friends and relations about it, and you can play along when that comes up tomorrow. Yep. And that is it for today. We'll be back again with our Triplet Tuesday segment as well as all the rest of our cutting edge analysis tomorrow.
Bye-bye.